Well, it's been a couple of weeks since I last posted something, so I just wanted to give an update about how my GAMSAT went. So I actually took my GAMSAT into two different parts. I took the essay part on the 2nd of March, and I took the English and science part of GAMSAT this past weekend. So I took the test through Acer, and it was being proctored through ProctorU. So the good news was I didn't have to go all the way to Australia just to take a test and then come back. That would have been very inconvenient for me, to say the least. Um, Nonetheless, I was able to get it proctored through ProctorU, and once I registered for the test, it was just a matter of waiting and just seeing what time I would take it. I took the test on both of those dates at 10 a.m. So for my essay portion, it was 60 minutes long. The essays were very efficient and very quick. It was kind of what I expected because I spent most of GAMSAT really preparing for the essay writing. So I think I got that done in maybe 40 minutes. And it was the easiest out of the other two sections. Obviously, the English and science portion was a little bit different. When it came to the English section, it wasn't that bad, but it was still kind of always down to just two answers. So apparently, a lot in the English section of the GAMSAT, they make it so that it kind of forces you to pick which one is the best fit answer or the most accurate answer, because they have a lot of answers that can certainly be possibilities, but you have to go back in the text and look at the stem and look at keywords to determine which one is the more correct answer. So that's kind of like what tricked me, and it almost reminded me of when I took the NCLEX for my nursing boards, because it kind of asked the same thing: which one is the best answer based on the data given? And then we come to the science section. Oh boy. Science section was certainly hard. I tried my very best on all of them, but I just had to guess on many of them. I don't remember any counts, and then I moved on. And something else to kind of highlight, I actually finished the GAMSAT this Monday. And the reason why is because while I was taking the science section of GAMSAT, my Wi-Fi unfortunately went out and the proctor couldn't see my camera, and they messaged me while I was taking the test. I kind of looked at the message. I'm like, "What? My camera's off, and I'm still able to take the test." So what ended up happening was I ended up exiting the test, thinking I'd be able to get back in, and I got reconnected with my camera, obviously. And once I got that connected, the proctor couldn't take me back into the test. So I was really concerned. I thought that, oh no, I'm locked out of the test, and I can't get back in and finish the answers I need to. Luckily, I did email Acer, which they got back to me that this past Sunday, saying that I can finish the remaining part of the science section Monday after my job. So I did, and what do you know, the same issue happened again where the camera was turned off, but for some reason, by some miracle this time, the proctor was able to get me back into section 3 so I can finish the remaining of the test. Because of this webcam issue, it really pressured me just to start answering as many questions as I could. And I think because of that, I really wasn't able to focus a lot on actually answering those questions as thoroughly as I could. I finished section 3 with an hour to spare, so it wasn't like I ran out of time. I think my main focus was I don't want this camera to give me any issues, so let me just try my best to do some educated guesses on these sections as quick as I could, which I think kind of at the end really lowered the quality of the answers I put for section 3. But now, GAMSAT is out of the books, and I'm not going to get my score back until late May. Acer does do a statistical analysis review of every question, and they kind of curve the test, and they also look at every question to see based on how other test takers scored or answered that question correctly or incorrectly. They do their own review, basically. And then they'll give me a score for each section around late May. Once I get the GAMSAT score, I'll be able to determine if it's a competitive score and it's good for the Australian, British, and Irish medical schools I'm applying to, or if it's a test I might need to retake in September, or if I get into another medical school that didn't require GAMSAT, is it really worth it for me to retake GAMSAT if I'm going to another medical school that didn't require it in the first place, based on admissions? That was pretty much it. I studied for the GAMSAT around January. I registered for it around that time. I don't think I really spent the time I really wanted to towards the end. I was definitely studying like January and February into GAMSAT. But when it came to the actual practice tests and tests, I kind of paused during March, and really during the accident I had in mid February, it really took a lot of time out of me trying to focus on GAMSAT. So, in terms of readjusting and losing a lot of time out of my day because of commuting through public transportation, it may have really discouraged me from seeking to add more hours to GAMSAT prep. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I at least did it, and if I need to retake it, I will. But my hopes is that I do good, or at least get a minimal score that can make me look somewhat competitive, or at the very least baseline for my med school applications. I did try my best, but given the unfortunate situation I was in last month, it did kind of change things a little bit off course for me. But I tried to readjust. And I will say, for those who are taking the GAMSAT themselves, and if you find yourself in the situation where you didn't know the answers, just so you know, I also was in that situation as well. The GAMSAT should never be an indication of how good of a doctor you're going to be if you get into a good med school. And the GAMSAT really sucks because it really doesn't test you a lot on medicine. It's more like the US equivalent of the SAT. But for those who feel discouraged about their performance on GAMSAT, you're not alone, because I feel the same way as well. I kind of feel like I'm a failure of taking GAMSAT, and I'm just not built for it. But we'll see. Who knows? Anyways, it's just kind of share my thoughts, and I hope for those that are taking GAMSAT, again, you're not alone in this. I'm in the same shoes as you, and I kind of felt super dumb and really pretty much guessing on all the answers. But we'll wait until May, and then hopefully we can do better, or we can learn from it and kind of move on. Many thanks. Take care, and cheers.